You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
Welcome to the Hot Options Report, your premier source for insight into the fast-moving options market. Each day, we'll track down the products that are dominating the options chains and impacting your trading account, from Nvidia to VIX and everything in between. If it's lighting up the options tape, then you'll find it on the Hot Options Report.
All right, everybody, that music means we are back. Time to rock out on the Thursday edition of THOR, aka the Hot Options Report. My name, of course, Mark Longo from theoptionsinsider.com, as well as from the network upon which all of you folks are binging. Make sure you're subscribed to the full Options Insider Radio Network, wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Trust me, you're going to thank me. And of course, if you want to thank me even more, head on over to the pro, theoptionsinsider.com/pro is a place to go to check out all kinds of great exclusives like the upcoming Vol Deathmatch 2.0. Be there, or dare I say it, be square, listeners. And of course, if you want to keep thanking me, then head on over to thehotoptionsreport.com. You can't beat the data. You got the whole equity options market at your fingertips. Slice it up however you want. You can't beat the price. Spoiler alert. It's still free. Thehotoptionsreport.com, the place to go to kick the tires and light the fires. As we dive on into our top 10 today, was it a hot day in the world of options? The answer was yes. This is one of the more active days we've seen in quite some time here on good old THOR. Nearly 2x what has cost us to break into the top 10 on some days. Almost 800,000 contracts, 798,000 contracts to be precise. That gets us to AbbVie, ticker symbol ABBV, selling off a bit today, closing 216.75, off $5.14, or about 2.3%. The hot option in AbbVie breaking into the top 10 on the heels of a little bit of XDiv action. It's 171,000 of the Jan 210 calls. So in the money, not quite as in the money as perhaps you might usually see on these div plays. Average price for these, $7.83. Let's keep climbing to number 9, see if we can get something more interesting than a div play. And that is the case. Intel, call it what you will, their start to the year, but interesting is certainly one of the adjectives you could use. Intel up nearly 25% year to date already. Absolutely wild stuff. Giving some of that back today. Ending up down on the day, $48.30, off 42 cents, or nearly 1% today, putting up 825,000 contracts for the number 9 spot. Yes, 825. We're only at number 9 today, listeners. Usually we get up to number 3 before we hit that kind of level. So a wild day out there today. The hot option on a wild day in Intel today, 59,000 of the Jan 50s. These have been trading all week. Looks like paper, once again, maybe bailing on these because it was potentially closing paper. Average price for these, listeners, 60 cents. So are you a buyer or sold to you on these? Again, 50s, only got one session left at this point. You can be rolling those bones out there, or is that a little bit of a bridge too far? These have been trading pretty actively all week, so it's like some folks are maybe getting the heck out of Dodge. And you had your chance again today. They got up to $50.39. So these were in the money, which makes that 60-cent print seem probably a little bit better in hindsight as we keep climbing to number 8. Our old pal, the Monster, also having a heck of a start to the year, putting up 875,000 contracts from the number 8 spot. Giving back some of that upside for the year right now, trading a little bit shy of 171, off about $8.50 or nearly 5%, about 4.75%. And the hot option in the Monster today, 44,000 of the 175 calls. Average price for these, $2.86. Now, this was opening paper, but we did get as high as 179.25 today, so that makes those 175s look a heck of a lot better in hindsight. I guarantee you they were not trading for 286 at the end of the day. Clearly, you're leaning towards the selling end of those if you had to take it right now, listeners, as we keep climbing to number 7, good old Softy. 886,000 contracts on the tape for the number 7 spot, selling off 2 3/4 today, about 0.6%, closing 456.66 today. It's not been a good start to the year for big tech listeners. A lot of them have been down on the year, somewhere in the order of 4 to 5%. And color Microsoft with that same brush, the hot option in Softy today, 75,000 of the 495 puts. Once again, we're seeing deep in the money puts lighting it up with a day to go. These are expiring tomorrow. Opening paper, average price $37.60. So we saw the par puts yesterday. Today, 495 puts. Some interesting action in good old Softy. Speaking of interesting action, we've got Meta out there today. Meta bucking the tech wreck, rallying back today, $5.28 to close 620.80, putting up 1.06 million contracts for the number 6 spot. Again, we're only at number 6, already north of 1 million contracts. A very heavy day out there in the options market today. And the hot option on a hot day in Meta, 106,000 of these 650 puts. So once again, we're going far out of the money puts with 1 day to go. Saw some of this yesterday as well. Kind of funky paper out there. $30.63 was the average price for these. Let's keep climbing, see what else we can uncover in our top 10 today. Number 5 is the fruit company Apple. 1.08 million contracts on the tape. Selling off a bit today as well. 258.21 is where it closed, off $1.75, or about 2/3%. The hot option in Apple today, 191,000 of the 270 puts. So again, in the money puts expiring tomorrow. Opening paper, average price for these, $12.51. I'm sensing a bit of a theme here, listeners. We keep climbing to the number 4 spot. AMD, 1.14 million contracts on the tape today. Closing up today, $4.32 to close 227.92. The hot option in AMD today, 74, nearly 75,000 of the 235s. So pretty substantially out of the money calls, listeners, even though we did get to 238 earlier in the session. So these obviously looking a lot better earlier in the morning than they did at the close. Average price for these, $312. I'm going to go out on a limb and say with the close below 228, they were not trading for $312 at the end of the day. If you were willing to pay that, then sold to you, unless AMD gets a heck of a run. We shall see. Obviously, anything can happen with AMD tomorrow, but 235 by the closing bell tomorrow seems like a heavy lift. Was there a heavy lift going on in our number 3 name, good old Netflix? No, they were selling off today. Sold off 51 cents to close 88.04, putting up 1.3 million contracts. So another hot day in our old pal, what used to be known as the Widowmaker, but putting up a lot of paper these days. The hot option in Netflix today, 78,000 of, again, out of the money puts expiring tomorrow. This time the 105 puts. Average price for these, about $17. Opening flow as well. So once again, we're seeing a lot of meaty out of the money puts dominating our tape here as we keep climbing to number 2. It's our old pal Tesla. I don't think we're going to see a lot of deep in the money puts in Tesla, but you never know. Tesla selling off today, 438.57. So after having a day where they rallied all the way up to 445 1/3 and bounced off 437.65 to the downside, closing 438.57, net off 63 cents. So net kind of a quiet day, even if they did have a little bit more action intraday. Tesla putting up nearly 1.7 million contracts out there today, so a decently active day for them. And the hot option in Tesla today, 102,000 of the 450s, our old pals. They've been pretty active this week and active again today with an average price of $1.53. Looks like people were leaning towards the bid on these, which looks like it's the right choice, at least for right now, because obviously we closed pretty far away from this strike, listeners. Can we get back to the 450 level by tomorrow's close? A lot of people are going to be hoping so. We shall see as we keep climbing to the number 1 spot. You know what it is. It's Nvidia. The on-again, off-again dance with China. Apparently on again. Nvidia rallying, closing right around 187, even up 385 or a little over 2%, putting up 2.76 million contracts for the number 1 spot. The hot option on a pretty hot day in Nvidia, 173,000 of the 190s. Average price for these, 79 cents. Once again, we got close within spitting distance. 189.70 was the high before the markets turned around later on in the session. So Obviously, that 79 cents looking a little bit better earlier in the session than it did at the close. But can we get back there? Can we threaten the 190 strike tomorrow, let alone 190.79 to make these break even? I guess we'll find out on tomorrow's episode of the Hot Options Report. We'll see you back here then. And oh yeah, stay safe out there.
You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.